I am more excited about today's video than I have been for any other car that I've reviewed on this channel. When I was a kid, our family had a Renault Megane Scenic. It was the perfect family car for a family of 5. And I've waited years, decades, for Renault to reimagine that with electrical architecture. And they haven't. They've wasted it on SUVs. But thankfully, somebody has, and that time has finally come. This is Inside China Auto, and this is the Zeekr Mix. Yes, this is the Zeekr Mix, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to finally be driving this car. I've waited months for this car to come out because this is the one that I want to put a deposit on. And today, I'm going to find out exactly why I want to put a deposit on it. First of all, though, let's just appreciate the looks of this thing. It looks brilliant. It looks cute. It actually looks quite compact, despite the fact that it's 4.7 meters long. That's because we've got this monobox profile where the front window starts almost right at the front of the car and then it comes down to the back here. The wheelbase is 3 meters long, which means that 64% of this car is between the wheels, and it gives you absolutely loads of space in this cabin. Now I'm going to show you with some B-roll exactly how big this is inside, and we're going to talk more about the interior later, because it can do a lot of things. But look at that, 1.48 meters gap between the doors, the cabin, 1.35 meters high, so kids like 8 or 9 years old can stand up inside there. Super easy access to the car, only 38 centimeters off the floor, 16.8 centimeters ground clearance on this thing, and absolutely massive space inside. But as I said, we'll get to that when we talk about the inside. There's a lot going on, a lot going on. Look forward to that, you will do. So let's talk about the design. Okay, first off, we have the Stargate on the front, 95 inches, bit slimmer than that on the 7X and there's 007, so not as many pixels in there, but you can still customize it with messages and graphics. As I mentioned, those wheels pushed out right into the corners, fancy suspension, gives a really good turning angle, turning radius of just 4.95 meters. We'll talk about that during the driving section. I think they've separated the springs and the dampers, something like that, to basically give you a really good turning radius. Tiny little bonnet on this car, you can't open it. There's no frunk in there, nothing you can do with that. You've just got a little lid here for your windscreen washer fluid. And your windscreen starts all the way forward here. Your head is about here, so a long way from the windscreen. But despite that, still loads of visibility. Twin A-pillar design as on the Zeekr 009. Notice we have a LiDAR unit on top of the screen. That is to support NZP, the navigation Zeekr pilot, to basically give you urban autonomous driving skills. Not going to get to try that today, but we will get to try it at some point with another Zeekr in a downtown area. So yeah, 19 or 20-inch alloys. These are the 20-inch wheels. They look pretty cool there. Cameras all over the place for your 360-degree cameras. Of course, you've got those twin sliding doors. On the other side, the rear door is a slider. The front door is a conventional door, I guess for regulations or something like that. So you've got loads of window space. Actually, the window space is a record window space, like 7-point-something meters squared of window space, including a massive panoramic roof in there as well. So the windows go all the way down, they're double glazed to give you nice kind of comfort as well. And then you get down towards the back here, C-pillar drops down there, so you've got a floating C-pillar like you get on the Zeekr 007 and the 7X. Get a full width daytime running light, and then we get a really neat clamshell boot design. Bear in mind, Stefan Seelaf, who is the designer of Zeekrs, he was at Audi when they did that with the Audi Q5. We get a big spoiler up at the top, concealing a rear wiper under there, camera on top there as well, and of course an electronic boot lid as well. In here we get 568 litres of space with the seats all the way back, so plenty of space in there like that. You get switches here on the side where you can slide those seats 60-40 forwards and backwards, or make them fold down as they're currently doing now. Once they're flat, you get 2,000 plus litres of space in the back of this car, and you can fold them, you can slide them all the way forward while they're folded down, And then you've got yourself kind of a flat load area here. You can remove this panel. See how far forward they go? You've got this panel here, so you can tuck in there, so you've got a flat area. You can stick some taller suitcases down the back, and then if I press these two buttons, they'll come back again and come back up to the top again. So 568 litres, normally 2,000 plus otherwise. We get a 220 volt socket in there. We get a 12V socket on this side, so you can do vehicle to load on this as well. You get a few tools and things and hazard lights under the boot floor. So yeah, it's a super practical car. It looks really, really neat. They absolutely maximise that interior space, and that is what I'm going to show you next. Hey, thank you very much for watching the video. If you're enjoying it so far, do please give it a thumbs up so more people can see it. And if you want to see more great cars like this in your timeline more often, do consider pressing the subscribe button as well. We've got a lot more where this comes from. Back to the video. Now, inside is where the Zeekr Mix really comes alive. And honestly, there's so much functionality here. It's going to take a bit of time to get through this. I'm going to do it in two different sections. The first bit is the basics, the stuff that you see from the driver's seat. The second part, I'm going to open up the view and show you the whole cabin and all the different things that you can do inside. I'm going to freewheel it a little bit because I'm going to just try and make it through with the amount of time that we've got with the car here at the moment. So we'll start with the basics. Driving display ahead of us, 13 inches, good shape, good size, nice and clear. At the back of the dashboard there, which is a full 1.5 meters away from where we are right now, is a 29-inch augmented reality heads-up display. Nice and big, fairly clear. You can see your driving display functions on there, your car, within your ADAS surroundings and things like that. So a good heads-up display as well. And then in the middle here, a 15.05-inch, 2.5K screen running on the 8295 Snapdragon processor and Zeekr's own operating system with the toolbar down the left and the toolbar across the bottom. Not going to go into the details about the screen. We've done that in previous videos already, so don't really want to show you all the things on there, but you can move this 3D model around very clearly here. You can do loads of different functionality on there as well. It's really, really nice, this system. The best bit about it though, you can tilt the screen towards the driver over here, or you can tilt it 47 degrees that way towards the passenger, so the driver is not getting disturbed quite as much by this screen. So a really cool screen there. What else? We've also got a 21 speaker sound system. So speakers here, in the doors, at the front, at the back, all over the car. Zeekr sound system, 2,160 watts, 7.1.4 surround sound, Dolby Atmos support as well. There's literally an app in here where you can find films and music that use Dolby Atmos, so you can maximize the full potential of that speaker system. We of course get ambient lighting in these kind of copper coloured areas around the car as well. So ambient lighting in there, all around the curvy dashboard. You'll notice the dashboard is quite curvy. This creates more space for this front passenger seat to do some very interesting stuff over here. I'll show you that in a moment. But there's loads of Easter eggs, as I've mentioned, in this car. One of which is this glove box. So it's a top loading glove box, loads of space in there, space for 2 bottles, and space for this. So this basically clips in to the front of this center console here. You can also move these little tabs around here. You've got space for 2 bottles there. You've got two kilogram hooks either side, and you've got space for your phone at the front as well. So that's really nice and functional. You can pop that out. You can get 2 of these, so you can have one on the front, or you can put it in the back as well. So a very big glove box over there. Just drop those back in there for a second. We've also got 2 spaces here. As of yet, these don't do anything. So Zeekr is actually coming up with accessories that can be used here, possibly things like phone holders, stuff like that, to make this dashboard even more useful than it is now. You've got, of course, 2 USB-C sockets down there as well, and your ventilation comes out of this curvy bit here as well. Now let's talk a little bit about the materials. We get microfiber all over the roof, so lovely materials around the top. We get Monaco Nappa leather on the seats, which is even softer than normal Nappa leather, a bit more durable as well. So these are really soft, cushy seats. You get, I would say, 8-way adjustability on these. No, maybe a bit more. So you can move them up and down, you can move them forwards and backwards, you can get some tilt angle adjustment on there as well. Of course, you've got your lumbar support as well. So the driving position is very good. I'll talk about that in the driving a little bit. You get reach and rake adjustability on the steering. Downside is you've got to find it in the system, so it's not the easiest thing to find in there. We also get electric door release. So there's your button there for your door. Door pops open. This is a conventional door. All the rest of the slidey doors. Press the brake pedal and the door comes back in. Also here, 2 switches. One to make the cabin all face forwards, as we are now. Another one to turn these seats around so that we all face, so the front seats face backwards and the rear seats face forwards. I'll come onto that in a minute. We also get a little hook down there, so you can hang bags on the door, and you get big door pockets as well. Let's talk now about also first the panoramic roof as well. More than 2 meter panoramic roof. You also get a sun blind on that as well to keep the sun out from your family's face, which is great. Now let's talk about the center console a little bit. We've got a 50-watt wireless charger on there, vented as well, so you can put your phone on there and charge that. Also a little slot down the sides, you can put pens in there, and you get another bit of space in the top here with a USB-C socket on there as well. We also, you might see here, these little pockets on the side. I'll come on to those in a moment. This, of course, can slide all the way backwards, and it can slide all the way forwards. So we've got 2 meter rails in this car, basically, so you can move everything forwards and backwards to really make the best use of this space. It is a fully flat floor cabin, so you can essentially turn it all around. Again, I'll show you in a minute. Now, another interesting thing about this, we get a little drawer at the front here, small one at the front, we get a bigger one at the back, and of course, you can take it out as well. If you don't want it in the car, you can simply take it out, and it's smart enough to know when it's going to hit the dashboard, so it stops before it gets there. So that's the main stuff about the cabin from the driver's seat. Let's now open up the whole cabin, and I'll show you everything that we can do inside this car. Now for the back of the car, I'm going to show you a little bit about the seats here in the back, new functionality in this middle box here as well, and then I'm going to show you, via the art of speeding up time and flicking through to different scenarios, the 9 different scenes that you can set up inside this car. So you'll see that we have a bench here in the back. It's split 40-60 like that, and on the armrests, so you can see there's an armrest over here, armrest on my side as well. We have controls to adjust these seats. So you'll see that my leg rest can come out. That basically comes all the way up to here. You can also move the seat backwards and forwards as well, like this. So they go backwards and forwards by 49 centimeters. And you can also adjust your backrest as well. So you can move your backrest backwards and forwards to get more relaxed. I'm not going to show you the full extent of that. You can see that in the B-roll. It'll take a bit too long because the seats do take a bit of a time to move. But basically you can get very, very comfortable in the back of the car. And of course you can go even further back than we are now. Now in the center armrest here, we have obviously our first pair of cup holders there. We also have this button here. Hold that down. You then get some capacitive touch controls for your heating, ventilation, and massage. Those 2 seats and the 2 outer seats in the back all get heating, ventilation, and massage as standard, I believe, which is great. Another thing you'll notice, we also have Isofix mountings. They are underneath this flap, and they seem fairly easy to get hold of. So, and I haven't got my car seat with me here in Guangzhou, but it should be easy to get a car seat in there. You also get Isofix mountings on the front passenger seat as well. So you can put your kid in the front if you really want to. Interesting thought, actually. If you have a swivelly seat, can you put your baby seat on that one and drive with the seat facing backwards? I don't know. Interesting. Anyway, the center console, you might have noticed, is a bit different in this car. You might not have noticed. Now, on the other car, we had just a drawer here. This one has fridge controls, so it'll go from 0 to 6 degrees and from 35 to 50 degrees. Now press this button here and the drawer slides out, and I've now got, I don't know exactly how many litres, but a big fridge space there. I can probably get at least 10 500ml bottles in there, no problem. So that's another really cool feature. Very useful to have for a family to have a fridge unit in your car as well. Now what else do we get in the back? Some other useful, interesting features. Check this out. Now this door, and this door all have one of these. Now, when the car's driving, this is ambient lighting, so it serves as like a kind of a lamp built into the door. When the car's not driving, and when you've got the batteries in, which we don't today, this actually serves as a camping light. So you can have 3 camping lights around the car. When you go out camping, you just got extra lighting, and they recharge right there in the door pocket, which is fantastic. Another feature, by the way, for this seat, you'll notice down here, there are 2 switches. I'll show you some B-roll of this because that seat is facing the wrong way. Maybe it works. Let's have a look. No, when it's facing the wrong way, it doesn't work. So the back of this seat has a footrest on the back of it. So you can basically lie back here and pop your feet up on that footrest when that seat is facing the right way, simply by using these controls here. Got a lot of nice materials, of course. We talked about the Monaco leather. We talked about the microfiber. We've got carpet, as you can see. We've got this car here in the beautiful blue and white colors, which I absolutely love. I definitely would want those in my car. We do, of course, have many speakers. I think I said 23 in the front. So loads of space here in the back, loads of functionality. You can slide that backwards and forwards as well. And of course, I'm now going to show you the different scenes. So I'm going to sit on, actually I think I have to get out of the car to do this. So what I'm going to do, I'll show you the first scene, And I'll skip forward to what happens when this starts. Okay, so this is the first scene where you get, of course, your family here. Now, you'll notice this box doesn't have the same holes on it as the other box. So what I'm going to do is show some B-roll over this of a table that you can actually get clip-on tables that basically just plug into this box and lie flat. So I did record those in a different car. I'll show you those, how they work here. And this is the perfect scenario for that, because you can have the table here and you can sit and you can eat with your family. You can play games with your family. You can do whatever you need to do on a table. You can have coffee. You can even have hot pot. Apparently, some people would like to have hot pot in their car. Not sure I would want the smell of that getting into all these fabrics, but that's something that you can do. That is scene one. Scene two is this. So this one is basically the scenery viewing one. So you can have your doors open, you can sit in this seat. I think you can lie back a little bit further than this as well. You can just chill out, enjoy the view of all these Zeekr mixes in this field. Or if you want to go to somewhere really pretty, you can look at the mountains, the lakes. You can even go fishing out the side of the car. Scene number three is this. Now in scene number three, the front two seats have been pushed all the way forward, as has the center console, and you now have this big wide space, at least a meter wide, the width of the car, where your kids can play on a flat load area. You can even do yoga in your car if you really want to. So you've got this really useful space in the middle. Good time to point out another feature, by the way. On the back of the front seats here, we have these little clip holes. So you can basically plug in screens onto the back of these two front seats, so people in the back can have entertainment as well. And you've got your USB-C sockets on there for charging your phone as well. This seat, as I mentioned, has got that leg rest. I think I can show you the leg rest now that that seat is there. There you go. There's that leg rest coming down. You can hold 25 kilograms on that. So a small child can sit on that if they really, really want to. You've got a top tether on there as well, of course, if you don't want to use Isofix for that front seat. And on the back of this seat, you have a pocket. Scene four looks like this. This one is considered the coffee scene. Apparently people drink coffee when they're lying pretty flat in the front seat. Basically, you can have a chat with your significant other. Someone driving the car, someone sat here having a coffee. Maybe your kids are in the back, maybe they're not. Maybe just having an intimate moment with your spouse or partner over there. This is scene five. Now this one is basically a kind of a celebration or drinking scene. The little graphic for that is two little wine glasses being clinked. So perhaps you want to celebrate with your family. Apparently this is the scene to do that, where you're facing them. You're sharing a bit of legroom, to be fair. You can move this seat a bit further back, but because it's laid back, it doesn't go further back because of the steering wheel. This is scene six. This one is your camping scene. So as you can see, the two front seats have been laid down flat. Now what you can do is you can get a mattress, stick it over the top of here, and you can sleep inside your car, no problem, with all the seats laid down flat. Scene seven. Scene seven is basically kind of chatting with friends, so you can have a good conversation with the person in this seat here. The driver's seat, I think, is in generally the standard position, but I think they might be a little bit close to the steering wheel. So this one might just be those two people talking together, or just three people here chatting together in the back. Now this is scene eight. Now this scene is basically kind of like a baby sleeping. So I don't know if you want to put your kid lying on this seat to chill out while you're outside. I'm not sure. Maybe they can sleep in their car seat. Maybe it's just a child. You want to lay down on that seat and just relax. That is scene 8, and this is scene 9. Finally, this is the scene where you look after your sleeping baby, or if you want to feed your baby even. So let's assume that you've got your baby seat on the rear left seat here. I'm now much closer as, let's say, mum or dad in the passenger seat, and can feed my baby over my shoulder. No one can sit here, except for maybe the dog, if you really want to. But this one is the final of the 9 scenes. And it's just, the practicality of all this is just absolutely brilliant. So many different ways you can do it. So many ways you can use the interior of the car. It's got beautiful materials. It's got a beautiful appearance. I mean, the first car that we looked at was the grey car, so not as attractive as this one. I personally really like the white with the blue. And it's just a fantastic car. I love it so much. It reminds me a lot of the Renault Scenic that we had as a kid. And I very much feel like this is something that I would quite like for my family. Now let's take it for a drive. The one element of the mix that I wasn't really certain of, whether it was going to be any good, was the driving element, because I wasn't sure if the suspension trickery that they've put into this car might kind of reduce the ride quality or the handling, things like that. pleased to say those myths were dispelled, or those concerns were dispelled as soon as I got driving. The first thing I noticed was the steering heft. It was already in sport mode when I got in, and it had loads of heft to it, which I really enjoy, because a lot of Chinese cars, very light, no feel whatsoever. Not to say that it's the most feelsome steering in the world, but it is nice to feel like you're in contact with the steering rack at some point. So the steering's excellent. It's also really, really maneuverable because of that suspension trickery. 4.95 meter turning circle. This car will spin on a dime without shredding its tires like a Denza Z9 or an IM LS6, for example. The rack is about 3.5 turns from left to right. And the first turn either way is probably what you'll use most of the time. When you want to do those really tight turns, then you crank up the extra 3/4 of a turn. But yeah, it's really quite pleasant to drive, quite a pleasant steer. It's comfortable. The ride quality, very nice. A lot of choppy roads here in Guangzhou where we're driving this car, and it just goes over all of them, no problem. No need for air suspension or continuous damping control, anything like that. It's a very accomplished ride, as the Zeekr 007 was. Now, in terms of propulsion, we get one choice. Well, just one option, basically. Is it an option? Is it a choice? Is it either if you only get one? Probably not. We get one. It is a 310 kilowatt motor on the rear axle, 415 horsepower, 440 newton meters of torque. Quite a bit more powerful than the Renault Scenic that we had when I was younger, and it's absolutely plentiful. No problems there. They haven't given us a 0 to 100 kilometer per hour time. I would say probably about 4.5 to 5 seconds at a guess, maybe even just over 5 seconds, but it's plenty quick enough. If you put it into sport mode, it'll zip away, no problems at all. Batteries, we get a choice of two. The smaller one is a 76.5 kilowatt hour LFP battery, basically the golden battery from the 007 and the 7X, but with a tiny bit of extra capacity on top. That one, of course, is the world's fastest charging battery at 5.5C. That will give you 10 to 80% on the right charger, of course, in just 10.5 minutes. The larger battery is an NMC battery. It's from CATL, the Kirin battery, same one that you get in the larger Zeekr 009. That one will charge 10 to 80% in 11.5 minutes and will add 500 kilometers of range in 15 minutes. They haven't given us official numbers for the range, but we'll see when they release the official figures on the day this video goes live. So if you don't see it on here, do check it out on our website, InsideChinaAuto.com, where we do news every single day of the week except Sundays, and there'll be reviews and stuff on there as well, and more stuff coming in the future. For those of you who've already visited the website and checked it out, thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you there more often in the future. In terms of ADAS systems, we do of course have NZP, which is the Urban Autonomous Driving System of Zeekr. Haven't had a chance to try that today because we haven't really been in a downtown setting. I'll save that for a future video. But of course you get adaptive cruise control for the highway, automatic overtakes and things like that. And in general, it should be quite good, but again, I'll save it for another video. Overall, really pleasant car to drive. It's much better actually than I thought it would be. It's maneuverable, comfortable, it's nippy. The driving position is good, it's quite a high driving position as well, so the view is good and the visibility. And I mean, with all this glass house around us, the visibility actually very, very good indeed. You can see all around you. It is quite a chunky car. It's wide, at just under 2 meters wide, so in narrower roads it can be a little bit scarier, but on the whole it's a doddle to drive, especially with that really tight turn circle. Very pleasant car to drive. I didn't think the Zeekr Mix could do any more to convince me that this is my ideal family car, but having spent time with it today, using that interior that's so flexible, so practical, great materials, great flexibility, great future-proofing in terms of the accessories you can put in there. It's just so much better than even I thought it was going to be. It looks absolutely amazing in the flesh. It's a great car, it drives really well. I'm absolutely besotted with the Zeekr Mix. I will definitely be putting a deposit down on this one because this is the one that I want to transport my family around with. And I hope that this will go to Europe because I do think it will be a big hit among families. Thank you very much for watching. If you do, thank you for subscribing. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up so more people can see the great cars coming out of China. And as ever, we'll catch you next time.